Hey everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the modern metagame over the course of the last week, taken primarily from Magic Online. And I would like to put an asterisk by metagame because technically this is a winner's metagame because they only publish the top 32s, but I still think it's pretty reflective of the decks that you are going to be playing against on Magic Online. So let's jump right into it. As you can see at the top by quite an intense amount is Boros Energy sitting at 27.1% of the metagame. In second is Dimir Murktide sitting at 8.7%. In third is Living End sitting at 7.2%. In fourth, Ruby Storm at 6.1%. And in fifth, Eldrazi Ramp at 5.8%. Now this is a pretty intense graph that we're looking at. Anything being well over a quarter of the metagame, everything included, is wild. Like, this means that over a quarter of the decks that you're going to be playing against when you play Modern is going to be Boros Energy. So whether that's conducive of a ban or not in the future, we'll see. But let's talk about these top 5 decks. Like I said, the 5th most popular deck is Eldrazi Ramp, and it is exactly what it says on the can. It plays a bunch of the awesome Eldrazi cards from the most recent set, controls the board with Kozilek's Return, ramps up and kind of searches through their library with cards like Utopia Sprawl, Malevolent Rumble, Talisman of Impulse, Devourer of Destiny, smoothing everything out. And then, of course, running probably the best card in Modern, the One Ring, controlling the board more with Kozilek's Return and ramping with Kozilek's Return, and just kind of outvalues the opponent. It's a very powerful deck that has slowly moved to the forefront of the colorless strategies. In fourth was Ruby Storm. Ruby Storm uses cards like Ruby Medallion and Ral to reduce the cost of all their storm cards so that they can storm very, very, very easily. It's all about getting these cards onto the battlefield to eventually make a bunch of mana, get a bunch of cards off the top of your deck, Past in Flames to do it all over again, and eventually wish for a Grape Shot or an Empty the Warrens. The third most popular deck is Living End, which is really surprising because it got a ban a few ban cycles ago, but it's still living large and living strong, where you cycle a bunch of cards to put very large cards in your graveyard, things that are normally overcosted, but the cycling is very, very, very low costed, to eventually cast a spell like Shardless Agent or Ardent Plea to cascade into Living End to return all of these creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield as early as turn 3, normally on turn 4, being protected by things like Commandeer and Force of Negation to make sure this happens, and then you kill with these giant creatures that enter the battlefield. It's a deck that's been around for a really long time and a very, very powerful deck. The second most popular deck is Dimir Murktide. It is a tempo-y control deck that revolves around putting really intense threats like Orcish Bowmaster, Psychic Frog, and Murktide Regent onto the battlefield while drawing a ton of cards, countering a bunch of spells, and killing creatures. Pretty straightforward. Murktide decks have been around for a while. Undercosted threats with undercosted answers. And the most popular deck is Boros Energy, which is primarily a Modern Horizons block constructed deck, but plays cards that synergize with each other like Guide of Souls and Ocelot Pride to really flood the board, abuses the energy mechanic with things like Amped Raptor to be able to like cascade effectively into other cards, a Johnny to flip into essentially a 2-mana very powerful Planeswalker, a Flage to end the game and give yourself reach, along with a bunch of removal spells, and the ability to go very long with cards like the One Ring. It is the premier aggro deck of the format, is probably the best deck in Modern and the most popular deck in Modern by a very, very, very long shot. Everything in it is so powerful. But there you have the Modern metagame. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.